Hi friends, I got a whole big pot full of post-Thanksgiving stock trimmings, 2 turkey carcasses, a ham bone, and a lot of vegetable matter in there. If you don't make your own homemade stock, I strongly recommend it. It's free. All you need is some meat and vegetable scraps and some freezer space, and your homemade stock will be 100 times better than whatever that industrial swill water is they sell at the grocery store. And you can also throw your mushroom stems and scraps in there to get some of those vitamins and minerals and beneficial compounds. Even better, you can throw in some inedible functional mushrooms like turkey tails or reishi mushrooms in there and get some of those beneficial compounds too. All right, let's go dump this pot in the woods, see what forest creatures show up, and then look at their tracks afterwards. Let's go. All right, here we go. No visitors during the day, but we got our first visitor at night here. This big raccoon, he grabs that ham bone and runs off in the woods for a few minutes. Then he's back, getting a little more comfortable. But he starts mowing down on those morsels of turkey and ham. He's kind of hanging out by the tree. It's a good safe place for a raccoon. At the base of a tree, no predator is going to beat a raccoon in a tree climbing contest. Spends a good 20-30 minutes here at the pile. And then he's out. All right, day 2. Really cold and windy and snowing sideways. Didn't have any visitors on day 2, and I don't blame any of the animals for staying home. Day 3, we've got our first daytime visitor, just a white-tailed deer taking a sniff, didn't need anything. But here we have a new visitor to the food pile. Our Virginia opossum. Love how he's mowing down there. That's super cute. Spends a good 10 minutes rooting around, grabs a couple good morsels, and then he leaves. And guess who's back? Mr. Raccoon. He's really looking comfortable, settling in. He's up on his haunches, so I love that. But yeah, he spends a good long time there. He's hanging out by his tree again. And he's back. It's a hungry, hungry raccoon. We have an unexpected visitor, a flying squirrel. Wasn't really expecting that. Must have been something there he was looking for. So that was pretty cool. And a few hours later, Mr. Raccoon back for another meal. Really chowing down, but yeah, there's definitely something out there. He looks a little concerned. Has a few more bites, and then something spooked him, and he left. Day 4. Nothing during the day, just a squirrel, and then we started getting a lot of snow, and I wasn't expecting any visitors, but here's our red fox. This is my chicken killer, my nemesis, slipping in and out. But definitely digging in, hanging around. And then the snow comes pretty hard and fast. Fox is back about 7 hours later. Really get a good look at that tail, how big it is. It's like carrying an insulated blanket around with you. And the fox ate most of the pile, I think. Just in this one night. There's not much left after this. And that's it for day 4. Day 5. Well, it looks like that's pretty much it for our forest feast for the animals. Now let's have a word of warning. All the cute little creatures that we've just seen and those like them are filthy animals that spread disease. They're pooping all over the forest constantly. In fact, all the organic matter in the forest is going to pass through the body of one creature or another eventually. But the feces of mammals can be especially dangerous. Has all kinds of contaminants and baddies in it, almost every kind, like protozoa, giardia, toxoplasma. It can have bacteria, like salmonella. It can have viruses like the Junta virus. It can have infectious fungi like ringworm, and parasites like roundworms and tapeworms. The most horrifying of all these is probably the fox tapeworm, found in the feces of foxes. Foxes are found all over the world, and if you should become an accidental host for the fox tapeworm, it will grow inside your liver, forming cysts that act like tumors, and the only remedy is to have them surgically removed. Otherwise, it could be fatal. This is why we should always wash our fruit and plant matter thoroughly, wild or otherwise, and always cook our mushrooms all the way through. You don't want to get sick, folks. It's best if you steer clear of fox poop. This concludes a word of warning. Okay, now's the chance to track this fox, try to find its den. Maybe I can deter it from eating my chickens again if I can find its home and move it along. We'll see. All right, let's go. So here's our fox tracks. It kind of filled in a little bit. Red fox is the most common and the largest of all the foxes. If you've ever seen one trotting around, they have a very quick and deliberate gait. They're a very high motor animal. Hopefully we can find a nice print where we can actually see the toes. But yeah, let's follow this trail. All right, fox, where are you going? Here's some good fox prints on this log. You can see that classic X pattern in the middle. You can see a little bit of the claws there. The foxes are canids, like dogs and wolves, although they tend to walk more like a cat. They'll double register, pressing their back foot into the same space that their front foot went through. But yeah, they're roughly about 2 inches long, 1.5 inches wide, and a foot apart in general, and often in a very straight line. All right, fox, where did you come from? This is interesting. Looks like our fox kind of danced around here and maybe took a little nap right there. And that little spot curled up with his big tail. It's a good lay spot. You can see the prints really well too. And all up and down this log. Okay, we're working our way down. The fox is going around and down around this big beech tree. Could this be the den? No, it's nothing here. No dens. Just keeps going down. Wow, that's steep. All right, well, I guess I'll go down to the creek bed here and see if we can pick up the trail down there. So here we have a coyote. Little double register, that kind of X, much wider and bigger than the fox. We got about 2.5 inches by 2.5 inches, maybe a little more than that. Coyote prints tend to be offset, not the perfect register that the fox has. Definitely hear the coyotes howling down here in the creek bed. Quite a bit. Back to fox tracking. Fox must have rambled down through those snags or somehow got down this very steep cliff, because here's the trail. Okay, well, back over the creek. Not too bad. Where the heck did you go? I've lost the trail. While we're waiting for me to pick it up again, let's look at some more animal tracks. Here's a good example of a striped skunk track. We've got 2 feet registering behind each other, alternating. A nice, skinny, fairly tight line. The tracks are about 8 or 9 inches apart. So there's a front paw maybe an inch, a little more than an inch square. The back paw is longer, but they don't always set their heel all the way down. Skunks are methodidids. They have 5 toes in front and back. They're kind of a slowish, lumbering, short-legged quadruped. They don't really climb. And their tracks kind of resemble a tiny bear. But you don't really need to be afraid of them. It takes up to 2 weeks for them to refill their scent glands, so they will only spray you as a last resort. So here's the skunk that lives under my shed. Normally not a good thing if you've got a skunk digging up your foundations, but I actually like to keep this one around. It performs a valuable service digging up the yellow jacket nests in the winter and eating all the grubs. Thanks, skunk. Here's some pretty good opossum tracks. The telltale tail dragging marks. Opossums are didelphids with 5 toes on both front and back feet. We can kind of see that kind of sunburst front toe pattern and those messes of registration. Big back foot just behind the front foot. Here's some decent raccoon tracks. Little handprints, skinny digits, and the opposable thumbs. Here's a good look at the track pattern. Offset footprints, 5 toes front and back. Raccoon prints can sometimes look side by side, but that will be like the lead foot and the trailing foot stepping close to each other, and they're about 6 inches apart. And now back to fox tracking. And check out all those resinous polypores. There's a lot of them. All right, well, let's keep going this way, I guess. Back on the trail. We got some fresh fox prints right here. Looks like it scampered up through all these snags. I guess I'm going back up. And it looks like we're going right back to the food pile. One big circle. There's a lot of fox tracks right here. Got a big hollow beech tree, as they often are. Looks like a good owl home right there. Could this be it? And that's a lot of fox tracks. Look at all those prints. Yep, we found it. What an entrance. Nice and high. And then that goes back a lot further than you'd think.